Channel 8 Eyewitness News, the news leader.
This videotape has shocked the entire country. A mother apparently beating her 4-year-old daughter in a parking lot in Indiana. Now, the woman in the video says she will turn herself in. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Gary is off tonight.
The beating happened last Friday, but authorities have been looking for the mother and daughter until today, when the mother told police she would surrender tomorrow. The beating happened in a parking lot of a Kohl's department store in Mishawaka, Indiana. The mother's name is Madeline Gorman, also known as Madeline Toogood. Her daughter's name is Martha. The other woman in the video is Madeline's sister. Police now have her in custody, and it turns out Gorman has been arrested before for stealing, but now she's being charged with battery to a child.
We don't know where the little girl is, and we don't know where her mother is, and that's what's very concerning to us at this point. Her sister has been charged with assisting a criminal, which is a felony, and also failure to report child abuse.
Sadly, this type of crime happens everywhere, including southern Nevada. The latest numbers show just how widespread the problem is. Between the years 2000 and 2001, the number of child abuse cases rose from 8,100 to 8,200. So far this year, 4,400 cases have been investigated. Experts say if the trend continues, the total number of investigations could reach 8,400.
There's probably so much more unreported child abuse. You know, not every child can get to the phone or knows the difference to call 911.
Children seldom can protect themselves from abuse. It is up to others to help. But when should you step in, and whom can you call for help if you see the abuse we've seen caught on tape? Channel 8 Eyewitness News is live. Janine Gill joins us with more on what we can do to help. Janine.
The case caught on a security camera happened in a parking lot like this one. Now, while surveillance video is a great tool for police, many times child abuse happens when the cameras aren't around. Instead, you can be a good witness and help police.
She thought no one was watching, but now this surveillance tape showing a mother beating her daughter has circulated across the country. We went to a supermarket parking lot and showed it to Las Vegas residents.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I thought, she's doing that in public. She looks around before she is striking her child, and she's beating this child.
Everyone we spoke to agreed the actions of the woman were disturbing, but we asked what they would do if they witnessed it.
It is very hard to, because you want to mind your own business because you don't know the whole, circumstances. I mean, if it was like two grown-ups having at it, then maybe you leave it alone, but this was a kid.
I would have ran over to her and shook her and said, "What are you doing? What could possibly be so wrong that you're beating your child like that? Do you do this all the time?" Oh, I would definitely confront her.
I would ask her if she needed a helping hand, and then if she got rage with me and mind your own business and things like that, then that's when I take license plates and I just call and report and say, I experienced this in the parking lot. The mother's attitude was just really nasty.
Lieutenant Jeff Carlson with Metro's Abuse and Neglect Unit says intervening is up to the individual, but you could become a victim, so he doesn't recommend it.
The best thing to do is become a good witness. Get a description of the people, a description of the vehicle, a license plate number is great to have.
Metro says it's important for a witness to immediately call police so they can track down the case to determine if abuse occurred.
Now, if you don't intervene, you won't get into trouble, but you can be penalized if you don't report it. A few years back, a state law passed requiring you to report any sexual or violent offense against a child 12 years or younger. If you don't report it, you could be fined with a misdemeanor. Janine Gill, Channel 8 Eyewitness News, live.
Thank you, Janine.
Today, Las Vegas got its first look at the cars that will run on the Las Vegas Monorail that's under construction. The project is on track and expected to start running in about 18 months. Channel 8 Eyewitness News is live with Erik Levine. He is at the convention center with a look. Erik.
Well, that's right, Polly. As more people visit the valley and more people move to the valley, traffic gets worse and worse. One project expected to curb that situation is the monorail. Now, today we got to see what one of the cars looks like as this $360 million project moves closer to completion.
You see the ventilation systems on the side.
This is one of the 36 monorail cars that will transport millions of passengers each year between the Sahara and the MGM and 5 stops in between. The privately funded project is the largest of its kind in the world and should be completed in early 2004. The monorail cars are being built by Canadian company Bombardier and will run by remote control.
We're going to charge $2.50 a ride on an average. We'll have passes, we'll have week passes, 3-day passes, all-day passes. Those are the things we're still looking at as we start to bring the trains here and bring them into service.
And the impact of this monorail on traffic should be significant. The monorail will reach 25,000 hotel rooms and transport more than 55,000 passengers every day.
I think it'd be fabulous, yeah. I noticed it on the way in, and I can't wait for it to get finished.
As it stands now, workers are busy connecting the tracks, and local business leaders expect the project to showcase our city.
One of the prime purposes of this will be to help conventioneers get around town easier, as well as leisure travel visitors. But I think it's another example of Las Vegas being on the leading edge in technology and in developments.
And this first phase is just the beginning. The monorail is expected to one day connect McCarran International Airport to downtown Las Vegas. And there's a live look at one of the tracks that will run for the Valley's monorail here, where the trains will run along. If you want to see the train, there's 2 ways to do it. You can wait for about 6 to 9 months from now. They're going to start testing them up above, or you can go Wednesday this week at 12 to 3 o'clock at the American Public Transportation Association convention. Right behind me, it's open to the public, and you can see the car we showed you in our presentation. Erik Levine, Channel 8 Eyewitness News, live.
All right, worth looking at, Eric. Thanks. Now, while the monorail will help traffic in the resort corridor, the US 95 expansion is expected to help traffic in the Northwest, but not before some serious construction. This weekend, a major closure will shut down a section of US 95. Take a look at this map. The freeway will be shut down 10 o'clock Saturday night in both directions at Valley View. Valley View will also be closed over the freeway. The closures will allow workers to install a temporary bridge over the freeway for the widening project. The closure will be in effect until 11 Sunday morning. Traffic on the freeway will be rerouted over the exit and entrance ramps. Now, for more information on the US 95 widening project, just log on to our website at KLAS-TV.com.
Meanwhile, Polly, the process of buying homes, apartment complexes, and businesses continues along the US 95 widening project. Many homes have already been purchased and demolished, but other homeowners are still waiting for details on their relocation. Channel 8 Eyewitness News is live. Carol Wilkinson is near US 95 and Jones. Carol.
Well, Paula, just to give you an idea of how this whole thing is progressing, houses once stood on the open lot that you see behind me near US 95 and Jones Boulevard, but they've been removed to make way for the widening project. But there are other homes to be acquired and other homeowners who must now get ready to pick up stakes and move.
Come on, dance with Rambo.
Arturo Sanchez likes his neighborhood, and he loves living in this house.
We're going to miss this neighborhood. It's quiet, you know, and you never know what's the other neighborhood, your neighbors and all that.
But Sanchez, his wife, and 3 kids will be moving soon, when his home is purchased by the state and then demolished for widening of US 95.
It's a process that takes a long time, so our folks have been working with the people that are impacted for quite a while now, and we're moving right along with the acquisition.
So far, Mackenzie says, no homeowner has refused the fair market value offer for their house. And while the project, the largest in state history, continues to move forward, NDOT estimates it will acquire about 200 homes and 175 apartments between the Rainbow Curve and the Spaghetti Bowl. Now you're looking at a live view of US 95 and the traffic gridlock that has become a way of life for many of the drivers there. But back to the acquisition of the homes that will be involved in the widening project. Once an offer is made to a homeowner, the State Department of Transportation gives that homeowner 90 days to relocate. The state also helps pay for moving and any other associated relocation fees as well. Carol Wilkinson, Channel 8 Eyewitness News, live.
Thanks, Carol.
The governor is trying to make up a huge budget shortfall tonight. See how the cuts will affect Las Vegas families still trying to recover from the September 11th attacks.
Plus, you may have seen the spectacular streaky lights in the sky last night. We'll tell you what they were and what Las Vegans thought they were.
All right, Paul and Polly, we are live at the Greek Food Festival. It is the big-time food fest in all of Southern Nevada. We'll tell you what's going on, how long it's going to be going on, and of course, we'll have your all-important weekend and 7-day forecast. That's just a few minutes away. Eyewitness News will be right back.
You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6 with Paula Francis, Gary Waddell, Neighborhood Weather with Kevin Janison, and Sports with Dave McCann. Channel 8 Eyewitness News, the news leader.
The state is making major budget cuts, and that means $2 million in Medicaid will be cut to those still unemployed because of September 11th. Hundreds of families will be affected. Yetta Gibson is live at the Strip. She has more. Yetta.
Polly, Strip workers were hit the hardest in unemployment after September 11th, but although many of them have gone back to work, there are still some people who are unemployed who can no longer take advantage of free health care provided by the state.
But many people went back to work, and they would have then closed their case or reduced their case to Medicaid.
Thousands who remain unemployed because of September 11th will no longer qualify for Medicaid automatically. On October 1st, 252 families will lose their benefits, and over 400 families will see their Medicaid plan reduced to only cover their children. 31-year-old Joan didn't want to be identified. She was one of nearly 2,000 who qualified for Medicaid after the governor allowed those laid off after 9/11 to receive welfare benefits to supplement their unemployment checks.
He came to the agencies, what would be the best thing I could do to help the people that were affected.
Now that the state is in financial straits, it plans to save $2 million by eliminating the special Medicaid plan to those who are still unemployed.
The health care is really going to hurt. You're going to see a lot of kids who go without it.
The Medicaid program will be cut overall by $6 million. And the other $4 million will be saved by physicians prescribing less expensive medicines to their Medicaid patients. Yetta Gibson, Channel 8 Eyewitness News, live.
All right, thanks, Yetta.
The number of passengers going through McCarran Airport dropped again last month. That means visitor volume at McCarran has dropped 12 months in a row. There is some good news. Last month's drop was not as severe as past months. Passenger counts for the first 8 months since last September were down more than 6% from the same period the year before. Last month, though, traveler volume was down by only 3.8% from August of 2001.
Well, you may have seen the spectacular lights in the Las Vegas sky last night. Tonight, find out what it was and when you're likely to see it again.
The fight against AIDS continues. This weekend, a very special event will raise money for people living with HIV, and we'll show you why it's so important.
And later in this hour, a California teacher gets an unusual sentence for kidnapping and raping a student she brought to Las Vegas.
A spectacular light show lit up the Las Vegas Valley last night, prompting calls wondering if it was everything from a missile strike to an alien invasion.
I was one of those people that called in.
It was scary.
Channel 8 Eyewitness News anchor John Gilbert joins us with more on what turned out to be, I guess, John, a missile launch in California?
That's right, Polly and Paula. It's amazing the number of calls we took in the newsroom when this missile took off from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. If you didn't get a chance to see the colorful show, take a look now.
It was a rare nighttime launch of an unarmed Minuteman III missile like this one, aimed at a target in the Pacific Ocean. And even though Vandenberg Air Force Base in California is hundreds of miles away, this was the light show Las Vegans got, as seen from our camera on top of the stratosphere.
Well, my daughter was outside just messing around the backyard, and she comes running in and says, Mom, they're letting off fireworks above the stratosphere.
I went out in the back and I saw it, actually. It looked different. You know what I thought? I thought the lights from the casinos, and there's a cloud, and the lights was right above the Hilton, Las Vegas.
This was the sight Californians saw of the missile's colorful contrail. The Air Force says the test will help verify the reliability and accuracy of the Minuteman III missile system.
Now, we understand from the Vandenberg website that the next takeoff of a missile like this one will be in December. The light show last night could be seen in California, Nevada, and all the way to Arizona.
Tonight in Medical Breakthroughs, the annual fundraiser for people living with HIV and AIDS takes place this Saturday night at the Palms, benefiting AFAN, Aid for AIDS of Nevada. It's an important cause, considering that each year in the United States there are at least 40,000 new cases of HIV infection. Statistics help us understand the gravity of the disease, but living with it offers an altogether different perspective. Sherilyn Lewis's perspective changed 6 years ago when she learned that she was HIV positive. She found herself faced with an unexpected challenge to stay healthy and alive for her 3 children.
It has the same meaning to me as someone living with cancer or diabetes or one of the other major illnesses. There is hope, there is help.
More effective treatments have been developed to fight the disease, but a cure could still be years away.
Right now, I think most researchers are putting their hopes on a vaccine to try and control and prevent new infections. But a cure in the next 15 years, I think, is pushing it.
Coping with the depression that comes with an illness is half the battle. Sherilyn finds comfort in connecting with her spiritual side and her funny bone.
Laughter. I recommend laughter for any and everybody. And when I can't laugh, my kids, they bring it right out of me, and they make me happy. And
like Sherilyn, many people living with HIV and AIDS in Las Vegas rely on the services of AFAN. The fundraiser this Saturday promises a good time for a good cause. The Black and White Party begins at 8 p.m. at the Palms, and tickets are $50. The evening includes a performance by Taylor Dane, plenty of food, and a raffle. For more information, call 382-AFAN. Prostate cancer is highly curable with early detection. The American Cancer Society recommends annual screenings for all men over the age of 50. Free prostate screenings are being offered this weekend at Sunrise Diagnostic on Maryland Parkway and at Mountain View Hospital on North Tenaya. You do need an appointment, though, and the number to call is 233-5300. A new study recommends using ultrasounds to find breast cancer in some women. Small cancers can be difficult to find with mammograms, especially in women with dense breast tissue. The study found mammograms could detect 98% of cancers in women with not very dense tissue, compared with 48% in women with dense breast tissue. The research found ultrasound could help find those smaller cancers. And that's Medical Breakthroughs, Polly.
All right, thanks, Paul. Balloon enthusiasts are hoping for clear skies and smooth sailing this weekend. Area balloonists will take to the skies tomorrow and Sunday for the annual Hot Air Balloon Festival at Rhodes Ranch. They started filling up their balloons this morning in anticipation of the event. The Balloon Festival will feature balloon races and other competitions.
We have a balloon competition. It's called the Hare and Hound Race. One balloon takes off, it goes, flies for a few minutes, puts down the next, all the rest of the balloons follow. 29 other balloons will follow behind, so there's going to be 30 balloons up in the air. After that, at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a paper balloon competition. We're going to have a walk-in balloon, a tethered balloon, and vendors all over the place. So
proceeds from the festival will benefit the Valley's Deaf Kids Camp.
Let's hope the weather's good for that. Kevin is out at the Greek Food Festival. Kevin.
Hey, Paula, thank you very much. We are live from one of the biggest events in the Las Vegas Valley. They're expecting over 25,000 people here at the Greek Orthodox Church on Hacienda, just to the west of Jones. The Greek Food Festival underway till 11 tonight, then all weekend long. And look who we have here. We've got Jimmy and Spiro, just a couple of dudes drinking beer and guarding the lambs. Looking awfully good there. I guess the lambs are rotating, and so is the earth as we head into a new season. Very impressive, no doubt about it. What's cooking here?
Calamari.
Calamari, huh?
Calamari.
Is there a special recipe there?
No, yes, it is special.
It better be. Look at all this good stuff. We'll show you more of the food in just a second. But let's get you caught up with that weekend weather. We'll begin with real-time neighborhood weather from just down the street near Jones and Tropicana. Current, we've been so warm all day. Current temperature is at 92 degrees. We'll go a little farther down the road. In fact, we'll go down near Durango and Warm Springs. They are at an even 90. Next stop will take us over to the east side of the valley where it's 95, and the south end of town checking in with a temperature of 91 degrees. Other neighborhood temperatures right now, Run the range from the upper 80s to the mid 90s, depending on your neighborhood location. And then outside the valley, a little cooler on the mountain, not only at Mount Charleston, but also up at Bryan Head, Utah, where it's only in the 50s. Still 97 in Laughlin and Death Valley at 101. High temperatures today, anywhere from, well, gosh, low 90s on the west side of the valley. Look at these triple digits. 101 near ML King and Cary in Hollywood. And then outside the valley, the range 71 on the mountain. Death Valley hit 108, but they were outdone by Prim. And Laughlin today on the second to the last day of summer hitting 111. Around the country, showers and thunderstorms were very strong in parts of the Midwest. In fact, several tornadoes in and around the Indianapolis area earlier today. Those storms continue to march eastward, but they're not nearly as strong as they move into Ohio and Pennsylvania. Mammoth area of high pressure dominating the weather in the west. Not a cloud to be found. All the weather going well over the top of us. It's wall-to-wall sunshine for the next week. Here's your 7-day forecast. Well, beginning with tonight, 767 for the low temperature under a clear sky. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine. Expect a high temperature of 95 degrees. Again, some neighborhoods up around 100. And to look ahead at your 7-day forecast, we'll keep the numbers of the 90s peaking Sunday. The beginning of autumn is 9:55 Sunday night. And we'll have that bright full moon all weekend long. 98 Sunday and Monday, and backing off just a little bit early next week. Are we getting those heroes going here?
This sort of the Greek hamburger, you know.
A Greek hamburger. How many people are you cooking for this weekend?
Probably about 15,000.
Yeah, we heard 25,000. I'm getting pushed out of the way here. The food, obviously, more important. No, I understand, sir. Well, wow, what do we have over here?
We have a beef shish kebab style.
Beef shish kebabs.
Yeah.
Is the beef the best food on the menu?
It is.
It is, because you're cooking it, right?
Exactly.
It's better than the heroes and the calamari?
Oh, everything's great. Everything is Greek is great.
Way to cover yourself. Wait a second, where are you going with that? Where are you going with that?
Nowhere yet.
What you got there?
We have kota in Greek, which is chicken, and this is chicken souvlaki, which is marinated chicken that we grill and then put into pita bread with the requisite Greek sauce into it.
Oh, hey, that's fancy.
Just for you.
I appreciate that. Good stuff. We've got it all back here, and they're lined up to dine in elegance at the Greek Food Festival. It'll be going on tonight till 11, noon to 11 Saturday, noon to 9 on Sunday, and this is a pretty big festival. Again, we are on Hacienda, just to the west of Jones. Bring some patience, because parking can be a challenge down here, but they've got a lot of people helping you locate parking spaces. Paul and Polly, I can't decide whether to start with any of this or go right to the baklava and the other desserts here too. Any suggestions?
Save the baklava for last.
Okay, good idea. I know, Paula, you're looking out for my best health.
Yes, I am.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Kevin. A California teacher sentenced for having sex with her 15-year-old student in Las Vegas has some very unusual rules to follow when she gets out of jail. Find out what they are straight ahead.
And later, an attack caught on tape as Israel battles the Palestinian headquarters looking for terrorists.
I'm Dave McCann. The two fans who attacked a coach last night say they were provoked. Coming up, the latest on the aftermath of this most bizarre scene. And also ahead, the Mayweather-Castillo fight's off after all, but it's not Mayweather to blame. Details are next here on Channel 8. William Legue Jr. and his 15-year-old son say they were provoked before running onto the field last night in Chicago and attacking Royals first base coach Tom Gamboa. Legue says Gamboa made an obscene gesture at them and, quote, he got what he deserved. Gamboa denies the accusation.
And finally, the Royals come out.
You know, when they managed to get everybody off, and I realized I'd been hit here and I had been pushed into the ground on the other side, I saw that I was bleeding, and then I heard one of our players yell. I heard one of the guys say one of them has a knife, and then I was stunned. So I was checking to see if I'd been stabbed and just didn't realize it.
If it wasn't for the security guards that did a great job in Chicago, I think you know, I think our team probably would still be beating on these guys, because there's no room for that in our family.
The father they're asking will be charged as an adult. They're asking for an aggravated felony charge, both for striking the coach and also for hitting an off-duty Chicago police officer who is a security guard. The son will be charged as a juvenile.
Won't they have a story at the next family reunion? There have been a few run-ins involving fans and players over the years. This one in '84. Maybe the most explosive. Braves and Padres were fighting with each other. A few fans got involved and a near riot ensued. Well, there'll be no punches thrown October 5th at Mandalay Bay. The Floyd Mayweather Jr. rematch with Jose Luis Castillo has been called off because Castillo is suffering from arthritis in his right ankle. A new fight date has not been announced. This was the rematch to their April fight where Mayweather won a very controversial decision. Tiger Woods enjoyed another day of fantastic golf at the World Championships over in Ireland. Woods followed up Thursday's 7 under 65 with another 65, so he's at 14 under par and enjoys a 2-shot lead. Tiger is bogey-free through the first 36 holes. Jerry Kelly's 2 shots back at -12, but as you see, when Tiger's hitting his putts, he's awfully tough to beat. Channel 8's on the road with the UNLV football team. Coming up in 20 minutes, we'll check in with the Rebels in Toledo, Ohio. See you at that event.
Thanks, Dave. Welcome. There's more news straight ahead on Channel 8 Eyewitness News, live at 6:30. A teacher who brought one of her students to Las Vegas for sex is sentenced with unusual rules to live by. Find out what they are.
Plus, the president is now looking for support for his plan to attack Iraq, but this time he's going to world leaders.
And later, we'll introduce you to a professor at UNLV making strides for the Latino community.
You're watching Channel 8 Eyewitness News at 6:30 with Paula Francis, Gary Waddell, neighborhood weather with Kevin Janison, and sports with Dave McCann. Channel 8 Eyewitness News, the news leader.
Thanks for staying with us. A former California teacher has been sentenced to probation for having sex with one of her students.
33-year-old Tanya Haddon will have to finish out 40 days at the Clark County Detention Center before she begins her probation for the next 5 years. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Cindy Caesar tells us that one of Haddon's probation conditions is an unusual one.
Only if it has been approved by the parole.
Tanya Haddon cannot contact the 15-year-old student Richard Pena, whom she kidnapped and raped in Las Vegas when she's released from jail. Haddon also can't be a teacher, she can't hang out where children spend time, and she can't date a man who has male children. That condition was a result of her psychosexual evaluation, which the district attorney's office says is unusual but fair.
And she has demonstrated that she really doesn't have any willpower when it comes to a young male child. Richard, you know, may want to believe that he's a young man, but he's still 15 and he's still basically a child.
Tanya Haddon could be released from the Clark County Detention Center before her 40 days are up in order to face similar charges in California of statutory rape and child stealing. The district attorney's office here believes that she will receive prison time in California for those charges, but her defense attorney believes that she will only receive probation there. Cindy Caesar, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Haddon's attorney does not agree with the condition that she not be able to date a man with male children, but he also says Haddon will deal with whatever the conditions are in order to avoid prison time.
Nevada's Attorney General is accusing the federal government of meeting secretly to develop plans for Yucca Mountain. Frankie Sue Del Pampa accused the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and the Energy Department of having, quote, clandestine agreements and apparently unlawful meetings. An NRC spokeswoman says the agency has had several public meetings in Nevada and technical meetings with the DOE that were also open to the public. The DOE hasn't yet commented on the accusations. Well, Las Vegas may get some extra competition in the gambling industry. Mexican lawmakers could legalize casino gambling this year, possibly as soon as November. Gaming experts at the Global Gaming Expo say Mexico wants more U.S. European money, and one way to do that is to increase tourism through gaming.
A major strip transportation project is on the fast track to success.
Here's the latest on tonight's top stories. Today, officials showed off the first car of the new Strip monorail. The monorail will run from Sahara to the MGM Grand. Transportation officials say it's right on schedule to be completed by the first quarter of 2004.
And US 95 at Valley View will be closed in both directions this weekend. The closing goes from 10 p.m. Saturday to 11 a.m. Sunday. It's part of the US 95 widening project. Valley View between Bonanza and Meadows Lane will also be closed.
State budget cuts announced yesterday will affect thousands of Nevadans, including nearly 3,000 people who got special aid after September 11th. 675 people received welfare checks and 975 families took advantage of free Medicaid. But after the 1st of October, people will have to choose between unemployment checks or welfare, but can't get both.
The Bush administration has its work cut out for it in trying to convince Russia to back a potential U.S. strike against Iraq. And the president believes they made some headway today in phone meetings with Russian President Vladimir Putin and face-to-face meetings with 2 of Putin's top aides.
Russia and the United States are firmly in favor that Iraq should fully comply with the provisions of all respective resolutions of the Security Council.
Russia's support is key because it's a permanent member of the UN Security Council, and Russia holds veto power on any decision the council makes. Several Palestinians have surrendered in the latest Israeli siege on Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat's West Bank compound. Israeli forces moved in and fired on Arafat's compound in retaliation for Wednesday's suicide bombing in northern Israel. Arafat is said to be isolated with a few close associates and 20 Palestinians that Israel wants taken into custody.
He has high morale, and he thinks that the world community will not allow this for long. And but in fact, I feel that his life is in danger because this dawn, one of the Israeli snipers shot an officer of his guard. So it could have been Arafat.
In addition to bombing buildings, Israeli forces have started digging trenches around Arafat's headquarters and running barbed wire around it. Forces have also tightened curfews throughout the West Bank.
Today is National POW MIA Recognition Day. The day is set aside for remembering American servicemen who were prisoners of war and missing in action. And today, 2 local veterans were awarded the Purple Heart for their heroics and sacrifices at a special ceremony at Nellis Air Force Base. Like most war veterans, Raymond Tartaglia doesn't like to talk about the fighting, but he said the ceremony moved him deeply.
I will never forget it. This is something I never expected, and I'm very well pleased with it. I never thought that these guys would do this for us. I'm proud.
Nevada's 17 POWs and MIAs who are still unaccounted for were remembered with a wreath presentation and a balloon release. The ceremony also remembered the 13 Nellis servicemen who are still unaccounted for. Well, he teaches about the world's ethnic and cultural history, but next on Channel 8 Eyewitness News, this UNLV professor also makes sure Hispanics don't forget their roots. His story just ahead.
Kevin will also update us on the weather.
All right, Paul and Polly, you know, if this was smell-o-vision, you'd be salivating. Live from the Greek Food Festival, the weekend forecast, and more looks at some good stuff they'll be serving all weekend long. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
UNLV is a school rich in diversity, but it wasn't always that way. One professor there remembers that all too well and spends much of his time making sure young Latino students follow their dreams. Meet Dr. Tony Miranda, one of our profiles for Hispanic Heritage Month. The faces on campus have changed since Tony Miranda came to UNLV back in the 70s. Not of the students, but the number of professors who were Latinos, or Chicanos as they were called back in the day. He says there were none.
When I was at Cal State Long Beach as an undergraduate, there were no Latino professor role models. And that was one of the things that was kind of impressed upon us by the Chicano student movement at that time, was that you have to get back to your community. Because the oldest person stored in their heads the history of the group.
Dr. Tony Miranda now chairs the Department of Anthropology and Ethnic Studies. While his accolades are many, he's never forgotten the movement and his goal of being a role model to young Latinos. Many he had to convince he had it hard too.
As a teenager, I was involved with a lot of gangs, got kicked out of high school. I destroyed a lot of stereotypes. If you get straight F's in high school, you're supposed to be doomed for a life of poverty. I showed that that wasn't true.
He counseled and wrote letters for those who went on to be lawyers, a judge, even a heart doctor in Brownsville, Texas.
He's able to treat the poorest, probably, folks in North America, in that valley. And I'm gratified that I had something to do with encouraging him to go on to get a medical degree. And I can say that's true because he wanted to become a dentist. And I said, hey, dentist, yeah, it's all right. But why don't you go the whole 9 yards, the whole enchilada, and go and become a doctor.
These days, how do you feel as a Latino? Or where are you now? You started out as a Chicano.
It does get confusing. I started out as a Chicano, but, you know, the terminology has changed. I'm still, you know, what I am. That's important to some people, but it really, I don't know how important it is. It's just semantics.
On Monday, we'll profile Carlos Ramirez, a heart attack and stroke survivor who inspires others to live. That's at 6 o'clock on Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Some local dancers were showing their best steps today on the steps of the federal courthouse. Dancers with the Nevada Ballet Theater gave a performance in downtown Las Vegas. The performance is a preview for the soon-to-open 2002 and 2003 season. You can show your support of the Nevada Ballet Theater this weekend and cool off at the same time. The 13th annual All-You-Can-Eat Ice Cream Festival, sponsored by Channel 8, will take place Saturday from 11 to 4 at the Gardens Park in Summerlin. Proceeds from the ice cream festival will go to the Nevada Ballet Theater.
Probably don't need any ice cream this evening. The
No.
weather's probably nice out there.
Tonight dessert is baklava. Kevin, tell us about it.
Hey, Paula, we're down here at the Greek Food Festival along with Theodore. Theodore, what's cooking here?
I got some Greek mesodaki and some saganaki, which is a Greek cheese.
Man, that looks good, but you know, to me, and I'm no expert, it doesn't look hot enough.
It doesn't look hot enough.
Can you make it hotter?
Sure can.
Okay, wait a second here. We've got, what do you have there? What is that? What is that?
Okay, we got some metaxa, it's a Greek brandy.
Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. Nice job there, Theodore. Man, we've got to get through the weather so we can eat. Let's show you real-time neighborhood weather from right up the road near Jones and Tropicana. It's 90 degrees. A little farther down the road, down by Rhodes Ranch, it's 88 degrees. Next stop, east side of the valley, where the current temperature is 92. And one more stop, south end of town near eastern of the St. Rose Parkway, where the current temperature is 89. Other neighborhood temperatures run the range from the mid-80s to the low 90s, depending on your location. Outside the valley, already dipping into the 50s on the mountain. Death Valley finally getting down to triple digits, and up in Indian Springs, about 80 degrees. Okay, on the satellite picture, there is nothing coming our way. How about that for a forecast? Here it comes tonight, clear. About 67 for the low temperature, not much wind. Wall-to-wall sunshine on your Saturday, a little warmer with a high of 95. And some neighborhoods, again, scraping 100 degrees. Your 7-day forecast, we are looking for temperatures to, in fact, warm up on the first day of autumn. They'll be up around 98, then back off slowly as we get to next week. Overnight lows anywhere from the upper 60s to about 70. Autumn begins 9:55 on Sunday night. Boy, Theodore, this looks so good. Look at these people. People are all lined up waiting to eat your product.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so as well. Looks good. All right, from the Greek Food Festival, Paula and Polly, it's dinner time for us.
That looks great.
Wish you could join us. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
Dave, what do you have cooking?
Hot and humid in Toledo is what we've got cooking. UNLV back on the road. John Robinson's Rebels taking on the Rockets. This is going to be a very tough test for UNLV. We'll hear from the coach coming up. And the Runnin' Rebels finally finalized their schedule. They added one more opponent today. We'll tell you who it is next here on Channel 8. UNLV's football team is nestled into Toledo, Ohio tonight. They've had some severe weather back there today, but the forecast for tomorrow's game is said to be pretty good. The Rebels got in their first look at the Glass Bowl today. The stadium seats about 26,000. UNLV hasn't faced Toledo since 1984.
You know, intersectional games don't happen that much, but maybe they're going to be more of that now. I think as teams begin to look for not necessarily the, you know, we're going to Tennessee next year, and those aren't good games for us. I mean, they're too far uphill. So we're eager to have this game and eager to see Toledo come out when they come out.
The Rockets play in Las Vegas next August. Toledo's a 7.5-point favorite in tomorrow night's game. The Runnin' Rebels have finally finalized their upcoming basketball schedule. UNLV added a road trip to Bradley today. They'll play that on December 14th. This game will replace the one UNLV was supposed to have against Texas on that date. The Bradley game gives the Rebels a 28-game regular season, 14 out of conference, and 14 in the Mountain West. The good old boys are in Delaware for Sunday's Dover 400. Las Vegas Kurt Busch will start on the outside of row 3. Rusty Wallace is on the pole for the first time in nearly 2 years. We have another big football weekend ahead of us, and for some of his picks, here's sports bettor Lem Banker.
Right. Hi, Channel 8 sports fans. Lem Banker with Checkers. Hey, gang, did you see the fight last week with De La Hoya and Vargas? Actually, the one judge, this woman judge, everybody had De La Hoya winning by 2 rounds. Everybody. She had Vargas by 3 rounds. Actually, the problem was she thought Vargas was De La Hoya and De La Hoya was Vargas. We're going to give you 5 colleges and 4 pros. You ready, Checkers? Michigan State over Notre Dame. Michigan State over Notre Dame. Colorado against UCLA. Cincinnati against Ohio State. And the Air Force against California. Pros look real good this week, right, gang? Minnesota Vikes against the Carolina Panthers. New Orleans Saints against Chicago Bears. Arizona Cards against the San Diego Chargers. And Monday night, if we're not broke, let's go with the Rams against Tampa Bay. You notice all these here phony ads about how to lose weight? Gary and Paula, let me tell you something. I know the greatest diet in the world. You know, I work out every day. This is the greatest diet. Everybody get your pen and pencils handy, right, Checkers? If you really want to lose weight, greatest diet. You like Chinese food? You can eat all the Chinese food you want with 1 chopstick. See you next week.
Thank you, Lam. We have high school football in the Valley tonight with scores and highlights later at 11.
That's a good idea he's got.
He's going to save that. That wasn't a bad joke. No. I think he's going to save it. We should hear it again in about 3 months.
Thanks, Dave. We'll be right back.
Coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 10 on UPN, a 33-page report to Congress written by President Bush calls for the biggest change in military policy in 50 years. And you can get just about everything you need to start your own company dirt cheap next week, thanks to one of the biggest bankruptcies in history. Find out the details on these stories and more tonight at 10 on UPN.
Coming up tonight on Channel 8 Eyewitness News Live at 11, the mother caught on tape beating her child will turn herself into police tomorrow, she says. Hear how Las Vegans are reacting. Plus, a major part of US 95 is closing down this weekend. We'll tell you the area to avoid and the hours to avoid it. Those stories and more tonight at 11.
Avoid at all costs.
Really? Oh, that's going to be a mess.
They say in the end, though, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, it will be. That's tonight's Eyewitness News Live at 6. Entertainment Tonight is next.
Join us again for Eyewitness News Live at 11. It's going to be a great night. Enjoy.